"Mary," Jesus cries, and something happens, something miraculous. We know what it's like when life changes in a flash. You find a lump, the scan isn't clear, the envelope is just a little too thin, you stumble and fall and break. Life changes in a moment, a flash of a second. For me, it's come with a playful jump in a dance class and innocently stepping off a curb and boop, over my ankle goes. Sometimes I barely feel it and can just keep going. Other times I fall and cry out, perhaps with rather loud profanity in downtown Topeka. Mere minutes before taking a surfing lesson I was really looking forward to. Injury happens in a flash. It had never occurred to me that the flip side, healing, restoration, resurrection, could come just as quickly. I'd been to see my chiropractor earlier that fateful day. She had been working for months to loosen the tendons and other soft tissue in and around my bad ankle, trying to relieve the pain. The injury had intensified months earlier when something shifted in my foot during the dance class, I think, and I ceased to be able to walk pain-free. It was nerve-wracking, never knowing when searing pain would pierce through my lower leg when I took a step. Nevertheless, for the sake of my soul, I continued to do as much of the activities that I love, however hobbled. Near the end of dance class that day, we did a series of turning steps across the floor. I found myself with an internal reticence, a fear of turning. I suspect that's how the injury had happened, though I couldn't pinpoint exactly how. I was nervous about continuing, afraid of the pain that might shoot through my ankle at any moment. But that day I was determined to try anyway. And that first time across the floor, something happened, something miraculous. I didn't feel it exactly, but I was sure something had changed. The second time across the floor confirmed it. My leg, my foot was back. All of a sudden, for no apparent reason, I had an internal confidence to step, to dance, like I hadn't in months. I had a leg again. A few minutes later, the class finished and I left, muttering to my dancing friends with kind of great puzzlement, I think I've been miraculously healed. I texted my chiropractor later that night to tell her about my healing miracle, and I announced it to my dance teacher the following week. It had never occurred to me that healing could come as quickly, as unexpectedly, in a flash, the way injury does. But there it was. Early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb and saw that the stone had been removed from the tomb. Something had happened. Of course, the worst had happened just a couple of days earlier when Jesus was put to death and laid in the tomb. Still in the early days of grief, Mary came to Jesus' tomb expecting what? Maybe to just sit quietly and weep. Maybe to reflect on dreams dashed by death. Maybe to feel close to a good friend gone too soon. Whatever the case, when she arrives, she sees that something has happened. The stone had been removed. Then the story speeds up as she runs to tell, and the disciples run back to see, going straight into the tomb, now empty, to investigate. They take it all in a flash and return home. Mary, however, isn't finished with her grief. Her miracle has not yet come. She just stands there weeping. And the story slows down again. She bends down to look and encounters an angel. Woman, the angel calls, why are you weeping? As she answers, she turns and sees Jesus, who she mistakes for the gardener. And she's again asked, woman, miracle of Jesus' resurrection had already happened. But not quite yet for Mary. She can't yet see. She doesn't yet know. And then Jesus calls her by name, Mary. And something happens. Something miraculous. Resurrection. He comes in a flash. In that unexpected, shocking moment, her eyes still bright with tears, Mary responds, Teacher. And then Jesus commands her, do not hold on, not to grief, not to what has gone before, not even to this miraculous moment. Do not hold on to me, the risen Christ commanded. Go and tell. And she goes and announces to the disciples, she announces to us, I have seen the Lord. We know the world and our own lives can go off the rails in a flash. What if resurrection, new life, healing can come to us just as quickly? A simple series of turning steps across the floor and something moves, something heals, a miracle. A call of recognition, a name spoken aloud, being seen and known and loved. A miracle, resurrection, new life. It happens in a flash. Today the tomb is empty. The stone has been removed. Now what? We have been preparing for this day for 40 days. 40 days of wandering in the wilderness. 40 days of self-reflection, penitence, and prayer. We have walked through these last days of betrayal and suffering and death and all the grief that comes with them. We have been preparing for what? What does it mean for you this year that the tomb is empty, the stone removed? What has happened? Where is the miracle? Those are the questions not just for today, but for the season. It took us 40 days to prepare, but we get 50 days to celebrate. 50 days for new life to find us. 50 days for us to recognize Jesus when he calls our name and commands us to go. The miracle of healing I experienced that day still comes and goes. I know something has shifted out of place, that the tendons have gotten stuck when the pain returns. The clicks and cracks and pops usually mean that something is being put right again. We aren't meant to stay on the mountaintop or in the garden. Jesus commands us, do not hold on. Go and tell instead. Healing, reconciliation, new life. These are journeys for the whole of our lives. That miraculous moments are just that, moments. Doesn't make them any less powerful. Indeed, that a miracle can come in a flash by pure grace makes it all the more meaningful. Something has happened today. Something miraculous. Who knows when you will suddenly recognize Jesus standing before you, calling you on to new life. When that happens, I hope that you are so overcome with the joy and wonder of it, that you too announce to any who is near, I have seen the Lord.